Hi, everyone. I hope you guys are enjoying this week's amazing list of content for our first ever virtual National Weather Festival. I know you guys look forward every single year to coming to meet our amazing local broadcast meteorologist. And today I am so excited to have the wonderful Emily Sutton. You may have seen her on Channel 4 KFOR, and we have her here today to answer all of your questions that you sent in for us. Thank you guys so much for sending in wonderful questions. Emily is really excited to be here and answer these. So I'll go ahead and let her introduce herself before we get kind of started diving into the questions. So Emily, really, really great to have you here today. Thank you for joining.
Well, thanks, Caitlin, and thanks to everyone who's tuning in. We look forward to the National Weather Festival every year. So while 2020 is, of course, looking a little different, happy to still participate, and I'm so glad to see that it's moving forward. And hey, maybe we're going to reach out to other weather nerds across the country or the world now. So that will be great. A little bit about me. I'm a meteorologist at KFOR TV, the NBC affiliate. I am the morning meteorologist at this time, so I get up at 3 a.m. Every day and off on the weekends. You can catch me on air from 5 to 7 a.m. and then on Rise and Shine, our sister station on KAUT from 7 to 9 a.m. And occasionally I do the noon newscasts. I have been working at KFOR for almost 11 years now, which is crazy. I started on air in Columbia, Missouri, where I went to school, Mizzou. They have an ABC affiliate. So I started on TV there before I even graduated. So it was in 2006 I started on air. So that's how long I've been doing this, which is pretty crazy.
That's awesome. Well, you're a natural. I think we can tell. So thank you again for joining. We're so excited to have you. So I think we should go ahead and just dive into these because we got a lot of nice questions that people have sent in. So this one's a pretty easy one. I think a lot of meteorologists get asked this question. It's different for every answer. So what got you interested into weather? And then what made you decide you wanted to be a broadcast meteorologist?
Great question. And I know, Caitlin, I did a story on you and how you wanted to become a meteorologist inspired by the May 3rd, 1999 tornado. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, we all have different paths. I've noticed a lot of meteorologists know this from a young age. I actually did not. So if you don't know what you're doing yet, it's all right. You probably have a long time. Also, a message I hear a lot of people that say, oh, I wish I would have been a meteorologist. To that, I say it is not too late. So you can still go to school. But to answer your question, the way I got into meteorology, I grew up outside of Chicago. So yes, we have severe weather. It's, typically in the summer months that we get our thunderstorms, usually not tornadoes, and certainly not like the tornadoes we see in Oklahoma. But as a little kid, I remember my dad taking me outside, and before a storm would come in, he would point to the southwest and say, all right, it's going to come this way. And so I already loved looking at the sky. And then also when I was little, there was a big tornado that hit northern Illinois. It was the Plainfield tornado of 1990. And our meteorologist, who is still there and is so crazy, Tom Skilling at WGN, chief meteorologist there, he is still king in that market. But anyways, he did a special on that tornado, and my mom recorded it for me because I just happened to be interested in the weather. And boy, I was obsessed with tornadoes after that. And at that time I was like in kindergarten or first grade. And of course it showed everything exploding from the tornadoes, and it's terrifying, but I was fascinated and terrified at the same time. So I packed up my Barbie duffel bag with all the things you're supposed to have in a tornado safety kit and put it in my basement in Illinois, because we have basements, and we only had a few tornado warnings, but every time we had a storm, I was just interested. However, I never considered it as a career, and I attribute that to the fact that there weren't any females on television doing the weather at that time. Never even passed my brain as that could be a potential opportunity. So another thing is, I think, at least for me growing up, for girls, you were pushed more into reading and writing and arts. And I feel like the boys were pushed more into math and science, or you had to just choose, which is what I love about my career because it's using both sides of your brain. That's why I love STEAM. So science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. So fast forward, I was really into science. I did a physics project on atmospheric optics in high school. So it should have been a sign that I wanted to do meteorology, right? Um, and there's a video that some of you may have seen in a promo of me as a fifth grader doing a safety project on tornadoes, which is really weird outside of Chicago. Um, so again, the signs were there, but it wasn't until I went to the University of Missouri for journalism that freshman year, my advisor wanted me to do a science elective. I added meteorology, became obsessed, got an A+ in intro to meteorology, heard there was a storm chase team, and since Twister is my favorite movie, I thought that's what I want to try. So you had to add a minor to do that. I did that just so I could do the storm chase team. My first storm chase, April 22nd, 2004, I ended up seeing my first tornado, my first storm chase. And it was incredible. And so then my second storm chase, I ended up seeing 5 tornadoes on May 12th. Yeah, I had great upperclassmen running it. That was before you had radar scope and all the cool apps now. We had to like sit outside of a hotel to bum their Wi-Fi and then go and find it. So I was like, all right, if I am able to get through Calc 1 this summer, then I'm going to add meteorology as a major. And I did. And so there you have it. Very long story, but it's amazing when you can look back and see the roads that guide you to places.
Absolutely. I think in the moment you think, I don't know, I'm kind of unsure. And then, like you said, looking back, it all made sense and it all worked out. So you're exactly where you need to be. And we sure love you for it.
Yay. Oh, and in regards to broadcast specifically, it totally makes sense for me. I wanted to go to musical theater at NYU possibly for college. So
yes.
I mean, broadcast meteorology, you have the element of performance and you get to also geek out and have the science and math and data side. So it's a perfect combo.
Yes. And so for our viewers on here that don't know, Emily actually has an amazing singing voice. She's incredible. She frequently sings national anthems for our local sports events, all kinds of things. She's even done little jazz concerts. She's phenomenal. So you should look her up. She has a phenomenal voice. So
you're
putting that out there.
You're sweet. Thanks. Well, this job has given me so many opportunities that I don't think I would have had before. So
exactly. Yes. Really good way to put it. So this one is a little bit more interesting. So the next question is asking, do you ever feel intimidated to be one of the few women in broadcast meteorology?
Good question. Okay, so a little background here. I happen to be the first female meteorologist at KFOR TV, and I was the first female meteorologist at my last TV station, WCYB TV, which is in Bristol, Tennessee / Virginia. So I think that's kind of weird. I started here in 2009 and it took that long for them to hire a female meteorologist. It's kind of weird. Mm-hmm. But you'll find it's kind of a boys' club. I mean, there's a study that's out there where they surveyed male versus female and the different roles in broadcast meteorology, and only 8% of chief meteorologists are female still.
Wow.
So definitely a minority. A lot of female meteorologists are in the morning. I just think because they associate females with like bright, bubbly, happy personalities. That's my opinion. But anyways, do I feel intimidated? No. I did feel intimidated coming here to OKC, but it wasn't because I was surrounded by dudes. You get used to that in meteorology school because although I hear it's getting better, but back when I went, there weren't as many females. So you just get used to it and you don't really think about it. What I was intimidated about coming here is it's the mecca of weather nerds. Hello, National Weather Festival, National Weather Center, everything is right here. And so I just pictured all these people watching me and like just tearing me apart. But, then I realized we all have our strengths, right? So a lot of people who are behind the scenes, they do a great job, but they couldn't necessarily go on air and do what we do, where you have the performance element, right? So we all have our strengths to come together. But as far as dudes, no. I mean, I have a brother, and you just get used to it.
Exactly. No, I thought it's definitely an interesting question, but I think it really does bring home that point of the statistics that you were mentioning, that there's still only 8% of meteorologists that are actually women. So we definitely need to do better, and we should work to encourage women to not be afraid to go into any of those, STEM or STEAM jobs, especially meteorology. So I really like it.
Yes. Yes, I would love to see more female chief meteorologists.
Me too. Maybe I'm biased, but I think it's just great. So this is another really great question. And honestly, I sometimes am a little curious about this myself. So on really bad severe weather days, it could be like a consecutive amount of days, like 3 days, where it's just like outbreaks everywhere across the state.
Mhm.
How does the KFOR weather team all work together? Do you take turns going out on each day? How do you sleep? Are you sleeping? So give us a little bit of insight into how that kind of works.
Right. Well, it depends on the year. So thank goodness this year, Mother Nature read the room. We did not have a bad severe weather season. It also depends on the staffing. It took us a while to get 5 meteorologists. So if you only have 4, you're going to be stretched even thinner than normal. But this is a well-oiled machine, and that's what I noticed moving here 11 years ago was how amazing things are when severe weather hits because they're so used to it here. So we have a system, I'm sure most stations do, where we already know, obviously as meteorologists, we have an idea a week out if something big's going to happen. And then a few days out, our chief meteorologist usually has some sort of rough plan. All right, this is how many people I'm requesting for trackers. This is what I think we need. And then the day before is when we really start to nail down maybe target areas. All right, this person who's chasing is going to go here, or this person we need to slide around, this meteorologist we need to slide around to a different shift just to balance things out. So it's really a group effort, but I will say, as much as we'd like to space stuff out, in reality, if it's going to be a huge afternoon, a big severe weather outbreak, of course, we're all going to want to pitch in. It's hard to be the person sitting at home. So it's a balance of finding out how to use your whole team, but also how to space things out so it's not thin, you're not thinning out your resources.
Mhm.
So that's usually how we do it. We actually have our own little Facebook page, and that's how we group that we all communicate ahead of time, and of course through email with management, and that's it. So day of, we're ready to go.
Love it. Organized and Facebook. We love it. We love
Yeah.
it. So this next question, it gets a little bit more personal, but I really think that this just is such a great question. So somebody asked, if you could go back in time to your younger self, what advice would you give her?
Okay. Man, everyone think about this for yourself too. What would you say, right?
Right?
Um, I think the only thing I would say is, you've got this. Don't sell yourself short. Go for the big goals early. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the hardest thing, and a lot of us, it takes time to grow into your own shoes and actually know your own strengths and gain confidence in yourself. Especially with this industry, man, it used to be that you had to earn your way up to the big markets. Now it's like you don't have to have that much experience and you can shoot up to a bigger market or a bigger position, but you have to have the confidence to want to do that. They're taking younger people because, of course, younger people cost less. but but it's amazing. This industry, it's a combination of timing, luck, talent, all together, and drive.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the only thing. I think I was pretty aggressive, but like everyone, especially with women, we all have our own insecurities, especially when you're younger and you're not sure of yourself. So I almost wish I could take some of the confidence I've gained after more than a decade doing this and instilled it in myself at a younger age.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of us feel that way where we kind of grow into ourselves and we're like, why didn't we feel this way the whole time? It's just so frustrating. But the
Right.
important thing is now we have that confidence and we're moving forward and we get to tell our younger generation, have that confidence and,
Yes.
know yourself. You're okay. Be sure of yourself and just go for it. So,
Just go for it. Yeah. And then one thing I did when I was younger, I did reach out to other meteorologists that I admired, and it's so great because you can do this now. Anyone can. It's so easy between email or social media. Just if you have a role model, or just ask, or you don't even need an agent to get to the next level. You can just reach out to the news directors directly. Things are just so different and so open. Back when I first started, I sent a VHS tape. Next step then was DVD. Now everyone has like YouTube links.
Right.
That was pretty crazy. So I did have some good advice given to me. There's a meteorologist who she was the first female meteorologist and on Fox in Chicago, Amy Freeze. She now is in New York City. And I remember she told me her biggest advice was have thick skin, um, which takes time, really does. We need that now more than ever with social media. But her biggest thing was don't forget about family. She said a lot of people have their eye on the prize and it's career bust. And then you get there to the top and you look around and no one's there for you. So that was a really interesting perspective because I think she has a big family. And so it looks like she was able to make a hybrid of that.
Wow, yeah. And that's really good advice. I always hear going for your dreams, have that support system to kind of help you when you're feeling a little down, feeling a little low. There's just going to be like its own heat engine to keep you going. So
yes,
that's really good advice. I like that. This one's another really good question. What is the most exciting part about your job?
There's so many cool things. Obviously, if I'm being literal, the most exciting is obviously storm chasing.
Of course.
But I will say, I mentioned it earlier, also these opportunities that I would have never even dreamt of going into this industry. I mean, I've been able to, I covered a story with the OSU Space Cowboys. It's their aerospace engineering department, and they had a grant from NASA. And so they were testing spacesuits in zero gravity and how it would react. And so I got to fly in zero gravity with the OSU Space Cowboys. And that was so amazing.
Yes.
Or I had the honor and pleasure of being selected as the media flight with the Blue Angels. So I got to fly with the Blue Angels, which was insane. So there are so many cool opportunities I've been blessed with. Just singing for the Thunder, that was so cool too. There's just too many things to count, and all the amazing people that you meet and come out of the woodwork. So it's really cool.
I like that. Yeah, I think if you ask that to other broadcast meteorologists, they'll always have a different answer. But I definitely agree, especially with you being here in Oklahoma City. You know, you're able to go and kind of be media personnel for all of these different opportunities. You know, you don't just get to do broadcast meteorology. You get to kind of be a part of the community and, you know, get to be reached out. And it's just really, really cool. So I'm so glad you went to the Blue Angels. I remember watching that. Like, oh my gosh, I'd be scared to death to do that, but I'm so happy she did it. That looks so fun.
I was nervous for sure, but oh my gosh, I just feel so honored because I know so many people want to do it. And so I recognize it was a huge opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely. So exciting. And then, so this next question, I'm sure you've been asked this many, many times, but I'm sure a lot of our global viewers who normally don't have tornado experiences happen near them would love to know this. So yeah. What is the largest tornado that you have ever seen?
So we have to get into the semantics here. So largest, the largest tornado I've ever chased would be on May 31st of 2013, El Reno. That is technically the widest tornado on record. That went from 1 mile wide to 2.6 miles wide in 30 seconds.
Wow.
And the sheer strengthening of that low pressure center and the expansion of the outer bands caught many storm chasers in the outer bands of this tornado. And that's what blew out my back window. So don't recommend getting that close. Of course, that was arguably the craziest storm ever.
Yes, still being studied to this day.
Yeah, insane. So estimated wind speeds almost 300 miles per hour. And what was so wild is a week and a half before that, I chased my first violent tornado, the Shawnee tornado that was EF4 on May 19th. And then May 20th, of course, was the deadly Moore EF5 tornado. And I chased that as well. And that's where I learned the lesson. I had never chased a violent tornado up close before. And you learn the lesson the hard way that even if you're far away from the tornado, the winds feeding into it will be 100 miles per hour or greater. So that freaked me out because I was right there looking at the Warren Theater at 19th Street and more. And we went to drive south and our car is hit by these powerful winds. And so I knew, I was like, there's no way that's the tornado. I knew that. But part of me while I was driving was like, this feels like it's going to knock the car over. So
Oh, of
I was like,
course.
is it the tornado? No, it wasn't, but still freaked me out. Had to learn that lesson. And then crazy when we turned around to go back north and chase it, just black sky. So it was crossing the road, complete black sky in front of us, and just debris precipitating from the sky. I mean, just littering from the sky, huge pieces of houses and lives and homes. And oh, it was just, that's when our heart sank, but crazy. So that would be probably the last 2 weeks of May, the largest tornadoes, but specifically would be the El Reno tornado.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a hard day. And I know a lot of people
Mm.
who are veteran chasers or are veteran broadcast meteorologists were very shocked. It was a very shock and awe day. They hadn't seen anything like that probably since, 1999. So really big tornado day. So definitely
Yes.
for those people, really, really hard, especially being there in person and afterwards seeing that damage in person that's actually caused. I mean, it looks like a war zone. I don't think we could ever find the words to describe to somebody what that kind of damage looks like. It's just something you have to see in person to actually get a feel for. So
Yes, that
really,
was my
really big.
first time seeing that. I know you saw it because you lived it in May 3rd, 1999. But for me, I'd never seen that before. And also interacting with viewers, I feel like I know people just from interacting with them day in, day out on social media or in person. So that actually, May of 2013, I feel like solidified my connection to Oklahoma and made me want to put down roots here because I felt like I was a part of all that. I felt connected. I almost felt defensive about outsiders coming in to cover
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, and then of course May 31st was just so tragic to lose Paul, Tim, and Carl,
Mm-hmm.
um, veteran storm chasers.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a crazy month all around for everyone. I hope we don't see that again. And it's rare to see that big of a tornado, let alone pretty much back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So to kind of end on our Q&A segment, we have one final question. I think this is a really great question to kind of close up on. So we had somebody ask, what advice do you have for those who want to go into broadcast meteorology or just meteorology in general?
Okay, my advice. Number one, if you want to be a meteorologist, please get a calculus-based meteorology degree. So go to a school and get the full degree, right? I say that because there are some old school people still out there that are meteorologists that aren't actually meteorologists, okay?
Mm.
So I've met Al Roker. He's a great guy. He did not get a degree in meteorology. That's cool. That's fine for what he does. But I'm just saying for future generations, I think it's great. Go get your degree. So obviously in Oklahoma, there's some great resources. OSU doesn't have a meteorology degree, but they have great engineering programs from what I hear. And then obviously OU, known for their meteorology school. Unbiased to Mizzou. I'm just saying it's a small program. They're
Yeah,
into
throw
Thunder
it out
Snow,
there. Yes.
storm chase team. Um, but it doesn't matter where you go, or even if you get, I know some people get their prerequisites at a community college or something like that, and then go
Absolutely.
to meteorology school. I will say it's not easy. There's going to be a lot of math and physics, and even dreaded chemistry. Oh, I can't. Chemistry
Yeah.
is my least favorite. Um, but it's worth it to push through. And that was actually my favorite part of meteorology school was when you got to do this huge equation and go all the way down. I'll show it to any, especially journalism people, and they'd be like, but it felt good. I was like, I don't know if it's right, but I did it.
That just sums it up. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
right. I did it.
yeah,
Here it is.
yeah. And keep pushing through. I was not perfect. And it was hard because up until meteorology, I was used to being a straight A student, work hard, get what you want. Calc 2 whooped me. Like I had to take it again. I dropped out of it because I knew it wasn't going well. And I went to the tutor and everything. Had to take it again. Next time, did it. Got, I think, a B maybe or something. But it's not easy, but that's why it's so satisfying once you get through and get your degree. The other thing is reach out, like I said before, reach out to anyone who has already been there. So that could mean an upperclassman that could help you out with your studying. Oh my gosh, do a study group. That always helps.
Yes.
But reach out to someone who you think you may want their type of job. Maybe you can shadow them. Or if you don't know where you want to go in meteorology, shadow these different jobs or ask questions and then figure it out. Have an open mind, right? I didn't find out till I was in college. You may take these classes and it may lead you somewhere else. Meteorology has so many facets besides broadcast meteorology.
Yeah.
And there's a big misconception with broadcast meteorology we get all the time. People think that we're getting our hair done and makeup done and that we're given this like big clothing budget and that we're paid all this money and all. It's not always as glamorous as it seems. When I first came here, the Christmas Eve blizzard happened, and I just remember sitting in my car calling my family on Christmas Eve, and they're like, "Oh, we got to go. We're about to eat dinner with the family." And I could hear like everyone in the background having Christmas, and then there I was snowed in at the station with expired Easy Mac. So
Oh, no.
sleeping on the news director's couch 2 weeks in. But
Oh my gosh.
that's that's a drastic example. But the point is you're going to have to work holidays. You're going to have to probably make nothing at the beginning. Now, as a meteorologist, you're probably going to make more than reporters and some anchors if you work your way up. So that's good.
Right.
Um, but you have to, the point is, love what you do, okay? Don't do it for the money, but you have to love what you do. And that's why you'll see, I've noticed throughout all these years, a ton of my friends or people in the industry along the way that have left. And they're happy when they leave too, because they weren't fully invested. You have to be fully invested in it. So broadcast is a little special niche, you know. You have to have a tough skin too. And as a female, my biggest comments, of course, aren't about, wow, I love your analysis of that cold front, Emily. It's your hair is weird, or I like that dress, or all these terrible or nice comments. Some people are nice. So
Yeah.
each thing has its strengths, right? But we need our research meteorologists so we can progress. And I can't wait to see all these research meteorologists and what we come up with tornado science, especially here in Oklahoma, in the next 5 to 10 years. So,
Yes. No, this is awesome. I think that's a really great way to sum up everything and really, really good, solid advice. I think I can second most of that. That's not related to broadcast meteorology. Lots of math, lots of physics, but it's just so, so sweet in the end to get that degree and even just keep pushing forward to get a master's or PhD and just keep going and just doing what you love, whatever makes you
yeah.
go. Really, really great way to sum everything up. So we've answered everyone's questions that you sent in. So to all our viewers, we hope that you have a wonderful rest of the National Weather Festival week. Keep tuning in every day. We're posting something every hour, starting at 8 a.m., going through till almost 6, 7 p.m. There's going to be live events. So thank you again, Emily, for joining us today. And be sure to watch her on Channel 4, KFOR, if you're local here to the Oklahoma City metro area, and see her amazing, beautiful self in the morning. So thank you again, Emily, for joining us.
Thank you so much. And if you have any additional questions, emily.sutton@kfor.com. Just email me or hit me up on social media.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great NWF week.